everybody, welcome back to another episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. Today we are working on closets and some other things. We'll get to that later, but we're starting out in Reed's room on his closet doors and making sure that everything is ready to help get him organized in here, hide any mess behind the closet doors, as we always like to do. So this room was originally equipped with a closet and originally had bifold doors, and we were able to salvage those doors. So we bought new track, new hardware, all that sort of stuff. So we have to get that installed and then install the new hardware on the original doors that we had. We were able to sand down and repaint. They look really nice, look like brand new. So we're getting ready to get started on that. I've got everything laid out, ready to go. And we're getting ready to install the track on the header. After that, we'll install the two brackets on the floor that support the pivot point there. And we'll install the rollers and everything in the doors. Once we get the doors hung, then we can get everything adjusted vertically and horizontally to make sure everything closes correctly and looks good. Then I'm going to cut a little trim piece to go across the top to hide the track, and we'll paint that to match the rest of the trim. Should look pretty good. So let me show you exactly what we're getting into. All right, so here's Reed's closet, and you can see we still have some wiring stuff to do in here. I got to install his closet light, and then obviously install the switch for the closet light. Trip over some Nerf guns on the floor, but we got all the outlets and everything done in here. Again, the closet was all original, but we tore everything out of it and did all new trim and everything to match the rest of the room. So now we've got to install the track, and we've got everything laid out here next to the stuffed animals. And I've got all the measurements and everything done to figure out where everything goes. So next I've got to mark the center line on the header. And then down here at the door frame at the bottom there for the bottom support bracket. Once I get that marked off, then we'll go ahead and screw the top track in along the header here, and then do the bottom brackets, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and start positioning the doors. All right, so we got the upper track screwed to the header, and it's nice and centered up there. So that's ready to rock, and we just finished up attaching the new hinges to the doors. So we got both pairs of doors put together. Lastly, we have to drill some holes in the end of the door panels if they're not in the right spot already, and that's where the new pivots will go. One end gets this upper pivot spring loaded so you can get the doors in and out. This is the bottom pivot, which is adjustable. It's threaded, and then this little spur gear looking thing goes into this bracket. That's what keeps it in place. And then the center gets the wheel. So it allows that thing to slide in the track. So pretty neat the way the whole thing goes together. So I got to drill a few holes, and then we'll tap those fittings in with a hammer. And then that'll be ready to rock and roll. They're ready to put the bottom pivot mount in, and they'll be ready to go ahead and hang these doors, see what it looks like. Okay, so we got our bottom pivot brackets screwed to the jamb and the floor. Those are going nowhere. Got one of those on each side. And again, they're serrated to interlock with this serrated pivot pin on the bottom of the door. So that goes there, and then there's a spring-loaded pivot on the opposite side. And then on this side, you've got a spring-loaded pivot wheel, and that'll ride in the track as the doors open and close. So we got both sets of doors ready, and we've got our pivot brackets in place over there. So we're actually ready to put these doors in place, and hopefully they'll open and close. Fingers crossed. We'll have to do some adjustment, of course. There's several ways to adjust them. You can adjust on these bottom pivot mounts, and then up here, you can actually loosen that screw and move it back and forth to adjust it there as well. So we're going to try to get these first set of doors up and then see where we need to make some adjustments. All right, babe, we got one side up. What do you think?
Looks good.
It does, doesn't it? A little bit fiddly, just trying to get the upper and lower mounts exactly where we wanted them to, but once we got those lined up, the door works pretty well. So we're gonna go ahead and work on the second one here.
I hear the barrage of kids outside.
Something going on down there.
I'm just happy they're outside and not wanting to play video games.
That's true.
Is it fitting okay?
Yeah, I was just thinking I'm gonna go ahead and move that top one. I got it loose, but I'll go ahead and do it now instead.
Okay.
Actually pretty even.
Pretty good. Now the biggest question is how does it compare with the other one?
Yeah, well, that's what we may have to adjust.
Yeah. Moment of truth. Oh man.
A little bit of adjustment there needed.
A little bit, because there's like zero gap at the bottom. And not quite lined up, are they, at the bottom either? All right.
Well, there's the little doodads that pull the doors together when they close.
Oh, okay.
That
so
takes care of the alignment.
Okay. It's just we need
Just
it.
gotta make sure the gap is the same.
The gap is the same. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna do some adjusting.
Looks like this one needs to go in a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
And
It might.
it's pretty plumb, but
Okay.
doesn't look like it here.
No.
All right. Well, let's do a little adjustment.
All right.
All right, there you have it. We got the doors up. They open and close nicely. And with the little brackets on the bottom there, they just snap together and it looks pretty good. We're gonna have to either paint the knobs or put some different knobs on there. And it was a little bit of a pain because the doors, I think, were a little bit racked just from, the age, and were maybe even trimmed a little bit cockeyed the first time they were put them in. Who knows? So it was a little bit difficult to get everything lined up. But I think it looks pretty good. And Reed's gonna be tickled, and we'll be happy to have everything hidden in Reed's closet again. So project well done. We're gonna move on to working on some things outside next. Take advantage of the glorious weather that we're having out here. We're gonna go and I think clean up on the patio, clean up the front porch. The painters have finished the painting outside. So we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning up outside, put some of our planters out, and maybe get some flowers in them. Who knows? Fall's here, but maybe we'll have time to enjoy a few mums. So we'll get started on those projects next. Catch up with you guys outside.